When people are making a career switch, one thing that I think trips them up is that they are not clear on their deal breakers or their non-negotiables. That absolutely needs to inform what you're going towards. A lot of people make the mistake where they're just running from something versus running to something. So being really clear on what you absolutely will not accept, I think, is really important. The other thing that I think people underestimate is how hard it can be to do a career switch. Applying online is not going to be easy for you because you're not as close of a match as somebody who has been in that role the whole time. So it will require a lot more conversations with decision makers to convince them that you're worth the risk. If they need to land really quickly or they're hoping to have their job search be shorter, think about the idea of micro pivots. Let's say you're in IT recruiter and you want to move to medical device sales. You do a micro pivot into sales, into the field you're in, and then from there, then you move to medical sales. You're doing a series of leapfrogs to get there. It's easier to sell a story if you show that you understand the product or you understand the industry. Some ATS are built with what they call knockout. If you see a job posting that says must have this certification or must have this, those might be built in as knockout questions. If you get like a immediate rejection, that is often the case. What you can do to make sure that ATS can read every bit of your resume accurately, not put your contact information in a header or a footer. I would stay away from those really stylistic templates that are on like Canva and sites like that. Because most ATSs cannot read things that are in a text box or like a graph or chart or anything like that. If you have had several roles with the same company, you want to make sure that the company name shows up next to the job title with the dates. That way ATS can score the number of years correctly. What I sometimes do to make it easier for the human eye is if you have like 3 roles with the same company, I'll hide the company name in a white font. So ATS can pick it up and the human being can't. So those are just a couple easy tricks. If you do those, your document's going to be able to be read. People talk all the time about the evolution of job search. People have always hired people. What has changed in my mind is the method by which communications start. People don't use Rolodexes anymore. They don't talk on the phone as their first point of entry. They tend to start through email, through text, that kind of thing. Your messaging needs to be really powerful, your written messaging. The other thing that has changed is that people can find you on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is super algorithm driven, and so putting keywords related to your job target into certain places on LinkedIn can really help you to be found. I always say LinkedIn's a two-way street. You want to use it to be found by recruiters and hiring managers, but then you also want to use it as a platform to start connecting with people and getting conversations going. You only have 1 page, maybe 2 to convey your story. List the stuff that you know well enough to use. Don't list the stuff that you don't. Content needs to be king over the design. Formatting needs to focus on easy readability, not a ton of bells and whistles. There's things that you can do to help draw the reader where you want them to go. Number 1 is to have formatting that clearly shows the sections, right? Here's my experience. Here's my education. You can use bolding or maybe like a different, like a color like navy or something like that to highlight the part of the experience that you want to showcase. When people are reading in a rush, they tend to start at the beginning of a sentence and they don't always go to the end. So the order of things can really matter. The other thing that we do because we're jumpy is that when we're reading bullets, we tend to start with the beginning one, then we'll jump down to the bottom, and stuff in the middle it sometimes doesn't get read till later on. Think about what piece is most relevant to the story. Choose your formatting to showcase that, and then also order your information that way.